If you're experiencing any joint pain, it could be a knee, shoulder, neck, back, hip, calf, I always tell my clients, let's start simple first and work our way to complex. Don't run out and get an MRI on something that you just tweaked yesterday in the garden or something like that. So what do I mean by start simple and work complex? Let's talk about it. In this video, I'm going to specifically address how to stretch your quad, your quadricep muscle, to try to improve range of motion, reduce any knee pain that you might have. Now, let's say you've had a knee replacement or you've got some arthritis in your knee and you can't bend it like you used to, and so you can't do the traditional stretch where you just grab your ankle and pull up. So we'll talk about 3 different ways in which you can stretch so that hopefully, no excuses, you can still add quad stretch into your program if you're experiencing any knee pain. The first way I'm going to show you to stretch your quad is for those that don't really have any big limitations. Maybe they're pretty flexible already, maybe they have full knee range of motion, but they still want a deeper quad stretch. So it needs a little bit of a setup. In this example here, I'm going to stretch my left quad. I have it on a pillow, and what I'll do is I'm going to bring my leg back as far as I can against the wall. So my knee is up against the wall. Then I come to a kneeling position here, and now my head's going to get cut off, and I know that, and I'm sorry, I just don't have a very big kitchen. And now I'm going to come up through here, and now I'm getting a nice intense stretch of my quad. If I want a little bit more of a stretch, I would keep sitting up a little bit taller. It's about as far as I want to go. Now what we can do is we can add a contract relax. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know it's a great way to get more range of motion. So you contract the muscle isometrically. In this situation here, I'm going to push my foot into the wall with moderate force for 5 seconds. And then once it relaxes, oftentimes we can go a little bit deeper into the stretch. And then once you're into a nice deep stretch, breathe through it, squeeze your buns to protect the back, and you're going to hold that stretch nice and steady for a 30-second count. The way to stretch your quad is basically what we've learned ever since middle school gym class, where you grab the ankle here, you're going to squeeze your buns tight, you're going to stand up nice and tall, try to bring your knee so it lines up with the other one. So start up here, grab onto the ankle, nice and tall, a little bit of balance if you need to, squeeze your buns tight, and as you get more flexible, just take that knee further and further back behind you and try to bring your heel towards your buns a little bit more. Once you get into that position, it's a 30-second hold, and what I would do is I'd repeat that a couple of times on each side. Now remember, if one side is a little tighter than the other, make sure you give that side a little bit more attention, because ultimately you want to balance that out. Now let's say you just can't stretch that way. Let me show you a different way. All my total knee replacement patients, there's no way they're grabbing on to their ankle. But yet it's critical that they learn how to stretch their quad. So if you know anyone that has a knee replacement, send them this video so they know how to stretch their quad, because it does a couple different things. The first thing it does is it really helps to work on range of motion. And you may have anywhere from 95 to 120 degrees of flexion, but the more flexion you can get, the more functional it is. Imagine getting out of the backseat of a car. Sometimes you literally can't bend your knee enough to get in, or going to a movie and trying to get into a seat in a movie theater. So this is a really effective way. Plus, the second reason is if you're still having some residual knee pain, stretching a muscle sometimes just feels really good to do. In this example, my right knee is the one that's being stretched. You're going to need a couple little props, something for balance. You're going to lean forward, and you're going to put your leg on a chair. The key is that your knee must be behind your hip. So in this situation here, my knee's in front of my hip. That's not going to work. The knee must be behind your hip. Then we have 2 variables we can control. You're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to squeeze your buns tight. Now, if I'm still not getting much of a stretch, I can do one of 2 things. The first thing I can do is I can put my foot up on a higher chair or bring another pillow. And essentially, that will bring that up a little bit more. Or the second thing I could do is take my support leg here, and I could slowly start to drop down a little bit more with a little bend, and that'll give me a nice solid stretch in my quad without having to put undue stress on the joint. So if you have knee arthritis or knee replacement, that's a great way to stretch your quad. So there you go, 3 ways to stretch your quads, and it's critical for knee range of motion, as well as if you're having knee pain, to be able to get a little bit of a stretch in the quad. All right, if you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. And good luck, okay? Let's get those knees moving again and increase your range of motion. All right, take care.